Okay guys, here we go. That squirrel that was stealing my black walnuts, we got him. Okay, he's in a live trap. Like I said, live food never spoils. I don't have to eat him right now. I don't have to process him right now. So I can take that trap back to the yurt, and when I get ready to process him, we can take care of that. We'll make sure he's got water. He's obviously got food because he's still gnawing on those walnuts in there, but that I use for bait. Fact of the matter is, you know, I've got two of these smaller traps like this, and I've got two bigger ones that the small ones fit inside of, so that's 4 live traps. Primitive trapping is illegal in almost every state in the United States. So I'm showing you at this point with this series of the Yurt, I'm showing you how to catch your animals in a live trap. That is not illegal, especially for nuisance animals like squirrel, possum, things like that. So I'm showing you the utilization of live traps to capture food. Squirrel is in season right now in Ohio for hunting as well. Good morning guys. Before I go out on a scout for some wild edibles and things like that I need to collect, it is raining today. I showed you guys earlier I caught this squirrel in this live trap, and you know, for sake of these videos, in a self-reliant situation where you've got 3, 4, 5 live traps, you can sustain yourself and meat pretty good just by using bait that's around you. This squirrel was caught just using the local black walnuts. So the bait was local. The walnuts are past being good for human consumption anyway, but we caught this squirrel. Now, the next question becomes, how do we dispatch this squirrel? And that's what I want to talk about, because I think it's an important lesson for this video. We could just take a gun and shoot it while it's in the cage, and that would waste ammunition that we could use to secure other meat in a situation where we might be low on ammo. We could put a glove on our hand and reach in the cage and grab the animal to dispatch him, but in that case, you know, I take a chance on getting bit, tore up, whatever the case may be. I take a chance on personal injury. The best thing for me to do, to be honest with you, in a situation like this is to drown this animal in the cage, okay? You know, it may not be the most humane thing in the world as some people would see it, but squirrels have such a fast metabolism, they're not going to hold their breath. He's going to suck water into his lungs and drown almost immediately upon being submerged in the water. So all I need to do is find an area of the creek like where I'm at right now that actually has water as deep or deeper than this cage and submerge the cage. So I'm not going to show that on video, but that's exactly what I'm going to do. So when I pull this squirrel out of the water, he's going to be wet. Okay guys, I pulled that cage out of the water now. That squirrel was in the water for less than 45 seconds, and to tell you the truth, he stopped moving after about the first 5 seconds. So it took no time at all to drown that animal. That's actually pretty humane compared to the way animals are killed, you know, for beef and things like that every day of our lives. So it's part of, you know, self-reliance, it's part of survival. It's something that you need to understand. It's not necessarily something I need to show, but I did need to show you the beginning and end results of that so that you understand what's going on. Now this animal's safe to handle. He's not going to tear me up. I'm not going to waste any ammunition, and I can go ahead and process this animal just like I did in the previous video, and I've got more meat for the next couple, 3 days. All right, got our squirrel all cleaned up now. Got something to soak him in here. Get a pan out here for a second, set him on our anorak momentarily. Soak him in some salt water for a little while. Make him taste a whole lot better when the time comes. And sometimes I'll do this and then I'll hang him outside if I'm going to refrigerate him. You know, hanging him outside in a tree like I did that last one is not a problem. Just want to make sure he gets submerged under the water. And we'll get some salt out of our sundries box over here. Some salt and water. There we go. Okay. Now we're ready to go out and hike around and see if we can find a few wild greens and things to go with this. I want to pick some pine needles today too. Go ahead and drink some pine needle tea to get some vitamin C in my body. That honey's really good for staving off a cough and cold, but you got to have vitamin C. So I got tons of pine out here. There's no reason for me not to go out and utilize it. I'll just leave this guy sitting here for a little while to soak. We'll probably end up having some squirrel later on anyway. So, all right, guys, here we go. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. I'll try to zoom in a little bit if I can, but I just came up here on this ridge, the backside of my property, to collect some pine. There's a whole flock of buzzards, it looks like, in a tree up here. You know, all North American birds are edible. Some of them have to be boiled really good, but they're all edible. So in a self-reliant situation, food is food, guys. See what we can do to take care of one of these bad boys. I don't know if I've got these guys in the screen or not, but they're already real skittish. See if I can reach out and touch one by sneaking up here a little bit on them. I don't know if you guys can see them or not. Well, guys, I'm guessing that I was out of range, you know, of that shell. I don't know. I had to shoot through the trees. They were starting to get skittish as I got closer and closer, but you know, that's a wasted shot. You shot, you missed. No meal there. You know, buzzards definitely wouldn't be my first choice of things to eat, but if I can kill one, that's a big bird. And things are the size of a turkey. So I would have definitely boiled and ate some of that meat for sure. But we've got, you know, we've got more shells where those came from, so we'll get up here and scout a little bit, see if we can get some pine, things like that thrown in our haversack. I brought my haversack up here empty to collect some things, and we'll go from there. You know, real quick, while we're up here on this flat collecting these pines, I thought I would quickly address a comment from one of the videos I did on putting a cap on the front end of your 12 gauge. It's been raining pretty much most of the day here, so I've got a cap on this 12 gauge so I'm not getting any fouling or mud in the barrel. If I sit down or something, I always carry it upside down. I shoulder it upside down like this to keep water from going down the muzzle, but at the same time, when you squat down in that position, you're liable to dig that muzzle right into the mud. So it's a give and take, but I've got it capped off. As soon as I saw those buzzards and decided I was going to load the weapon, as you can see, it's not loaded right now, okay? As soon as I break this thing open to load it, this is coming off. You're not going to forget to take that thing off. It's huge, okay? So that's what you have to think about when you're doing this stuff is, if you're going to load the gun, take the cap off. It's that simple. Now, I am going to load this gun right now because, you know, there's liable to be some game up on this ridge. Okay, the main thing I was after here, guys, is some of this pine, just to make some pine needle tea. I'm just going to strip some of these off. Like I said, I brought my haversack up here empty. And I don't want the brown ones, I only want the green ones. They're the ones that are going to have the vitamins in them. You know, pine is a huge resource, not only for the pine needle tea, but you know, there's pine cones all over this tree right now. And those pine cones, number one, if they haven't opened up yet, they'll have pine nuts in them. Number two, whether they've opened up or not, they're going to be full of resins. This one's opened up pretty much. You can see there's not too many nuts left in this, and it's pretty dead, but this stuff burns really, really well. It's got resins on the outside of it. You know, pine cones make a great fuel for your campfire, so that's something to remember while you're out collecting resources. You know, pine cones are good fire starters, so I'm going to throw a few of these in my haversack just because I can use them to start firing my wood stove as well.